Your inside voice says you'd be better off with a walk or maybe even a little bit of yoga, but your body is issuing you a hell no because you've just collapsed on the sofa. You're wearing your comfiest, softest, yummiest yoga pants. The kids are finally occupied. The kitchen's cleaned up. Your partner's got a nice big glass of wine for you and asks if you want a Netflix tonight because you've been pushing yourself at work like crazy. And right now, it feels like the sofa is the only viable option. And you told yourself you weren't going to do this again. And yet, here we are on the sofa. If only you had a little more energy to just do anything but just sit here on the sofa. Well, I'm here to tell you that it is possible to get to the end of your day and still have some energy for something that you like to do. To be honest, it doesn't really even matter what the energy is for. It's just some energy to do something that you feel like choosing to do and not feeling like the sofa is some vortex of like life sucking energy where you have to just surrender and that's it. Because you don't really want to be there every night. And you also know that sometimes you're working at night and really I just have energy to do something else. So here's what I want to promise you today, that we're going to dig into this. We're going to get under the hood a little bit and say, what's really going on? Is it about not having enough energy? And I'm going to give you 3 strategies to play with, but just pick one, see what resonates. If we've not met, totally success. I want to welcome you to the Surviving Success series. My name is Susan. I'm a recovering success chaser and master coach, and I'm here for the get like so much stuff done women who are success minded and would actually like just to have a little bit of energy to maybe do something else other than like land on the sofa or work more at night. Okay, here we go. Let's get on to the thing. My promise is to give you something to pay attention to get just a little bit curious about, so you can actually figure out like, what the heck's going on? Why can't I get myself off the sofa? And then 3 strategies to try out, but please just pick one, you super high achieving human. See if you can just tune into the one that feels the most interesting to you, like it resonates and you're like, oh yeah, I want to try that out. That's usually a good measure of if you want to try something or not. So let's start with this one thing to notice. Here is what I would feel curious about, is there's this gap between what you think you should be doing and what you are doing. And that's problematic because in your mind, there's this expectation that I should be going for a walk or doing yoga or doing anything else, but what it does is it's spurring on some measure, some level of self-judgment, or you might be feeling like you're so lazy, or, oh my goodness, if people only knew how much I actually sat on my sofa, or is this what everyone does? What's wrong with me? It can take us into this other spiral, which ends up not feeling good. So not only are you not off the sofa, now you're feeling a little bit badly about being on the sofa until you like get sucked into your show and you don't feel that anymore. But what if you didn't have to feel like that? So this is where we get curious. Here's what I invite you to try is for the next few nights, 3, 5 is good, 7 is awesome. Every night when you go and sit down to watch Netflix, that's right, don't change anything. Keep watching Netflix. I'd love for you to just tune in and say, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's my energy right now? 1 is I'm in bed. I can't get off the bed. I will never leave my bed again. This is where I live. 10 is I run marathons and I'm going to go run another one and I just ran one. And so somewhere on the scale, this weird scale of 1 to 10, you're going to say how much energy you have. It doesn't really matter what the number is. It could be 5, it could be 7, it could be 3. It's like data collecting, right? Because right now you might be like a 3. So just write that down. And then tomorrow, do that again and again so that you can get these data points. And then I'd invite you to, at the same time, just write down what you think you should be doing and why you think you should be doing it. That's important. So here's a little story. Let's say there's a woman named Susan, maybe me, maybe someone else, maybe my client. Anyway, Susan is on the sofa for the 100th night in a row, and she is really thinking she should be doing something other than sitting on the sofa. So every night she goes through the same little thing, feels badly about herself. So she starts to track it and sees her numbers and writing down why. And her numbers are saying she's super tired, like 2, 3 every single night. And then, so that's telling, right? Got some data points there. Then she realizes why she thinks she should be doing something else. And her reason why is that she had been doing like all the things every day for everyone. And in her mind, that equated to this idea that she should have more energy, that she deserved to have more energy to do anything at night just for herself. So she was able to look at that and start to make some changes based on her belief that she deserved to have more energy. So that's what you can notice. Now I want to give you some strategies to try out, because if you're anything like me, you want to just try some things, see what I can do. So here's strategy number 1. You're already tracking your energy and you're coming up with these numbers, and you're starting to get a sense that every night your energy is like around a 4 or 5. Can you also make a list of things that feel like about 5, so that when your mind is saying, I don't have energy for this, because maybe that walk felt like it would take more out of you than you needed, you still have some things that you can do that are about at that same point. So there's less resistance and you can go do those things. Try that. Okay, strategy number 2 to try is make sure that whatever you think you should be doing, you actually want to be doing. So here's the thing, is that you've probably been doing all the things you think you should be doing every single day for all the people at work, for your family. You should clean up the kitchen. You should get your report in by Friday. It's been that whole thing all day long. And if you think you should be going for a walk, or you should be doing yoga, or you should be reading that book, I can tell you that obligation is not much of a motivator for the woman who has been living their full day feeling obligated to do everything for everyone. So what if instead of obligation, you asked yourself, what do I feel like doing? Because that's checking in from a different place. What you feel like doing might give you some different answers. Now, first things first, you might say, I don't even know what I feel like doing. I just feel like sitting here and doing nothing. Hey, all good. There's no judgment here. It's curiosity. And that's clearly something you feel like doing. Rest, recovery. But continue to ask yourself this question of, what do I feel like doing? And just start to play with it and test it out. What do I really feel like doing? Maybe you feel like laughing like so hard. And so then you think, okay, I actually want to feel a little bit lighter. I just want to laugh. And so maybe you have some choices for that. Like you can watch that super funny show on Netflix. It's Netflix, but now you're choosing something that's going to make you feel good. Or maybe it's that really crazy family game you've got. I can't remember what it's called, where you all wear these things on your forehead and you have to guess. And you remember the last time you played, you guys laughed so hard. Or maybe it's that friend you have that it's like guaranteed she's going to say something crazy or whatever. But now you're operating from this place of, I feel like, which is so different than I should walk to. Okay, strategy number 3. This is one where you like zoom out of your life and you start to say, okay, yeah, I'm super tired. I have no energy for anything and I'm sitting on the sofa and here I am. What is going on in my life that this is where I am? So you might be inside the season of super intense work. You might have seasons inside your business where things are stupid, crazy, busy. And so if you're in one of those seasons and you feel like you have zero energy, yeah, you're in a season. So maybe Netflix is exactly right for this season. It's not about whether we Netflix or not. It's like aligning who we are and what's going on, like with strategy that actually feels like the easiest, like super easy. Or maybe your whole work life feels like this is how it is and you're exhausted all the time. Okay. So maybe it's time to get curious about your recovery practices and saying, okay, every night I'm getting home and I'm a 2 and I'm a 3 and I'm a 1.5 and I'm a 2, I'm a 2.5, I'm a 2. Then you can start to say, can I build in some more recovery? Like, what can I do to nourish me? And then the question becomes, what can I do at night to recover, to fill my energy up, to feel nourished? And maybe maybe it is a combination of Netflix, but maybe it's some other things where you're like, oh, I just want to feel good in my body and not feel so worn out. And yoga really helps me process the day. Or if I take that walk in nature, then that really helps me feel calm and grounded. Then you're coming at some of the same things from a totally different angle. So that's part of what we can do as well, is looking at it from a bigger picture. Is it a season? Is it my whole life? Or maybe it's just inertia, like those habits and routines, some of which I still have from COVID, like years later, where it's just what you do. It's just like happens. You can then say, all right, I see I'm inside this habit this time. What you can do instead is say to a partner, whoever's sitting there, or just say to yourself, all right, I get to watch Netflix. But before I do that, I'm going to go for a 10, 15-minute walk. So you still get to watch Netflix in your mind, right? You've given yourself that choice, but you're actually pairing it with something else that you want to do, not should, want to do. So you start to disrupt the routine a little bit, but not so much so that you outthink yourself and just watch Netflix anyway. So there you go. That is what I have for you on the how do I have more energy, especially at night, so that I can do the things that I want to do. I want you to know it's totally possible to figure this out, this energy thing, so that you feel like you have more choices and that the life force sucking thing of the sofa isn't your only reality. What we talked about today, quick recap, is first of all, notice with curiosity, not self-judgment. We already have plenty of that. Is like, what is this thing? What is my energy? What do I think I should be doing and why? So we're just getting under it a little bit more. Then we came up with some strategies where we find some activities that actually match the level of energy that we have every night. Or we can try the strategy of shifting from what you should to what you feel like doing and moving in that direction. And then the last thing we talked about was like zooming out and getting a bigger picture of what's going on in this season of your life and what might be helpful for you. Either way, my friend, it's not really about Netflix. It's not really about the fact that you're sitting there. It's about the fact that it feels like there's no other choice. And that's what you do have. So I encourage you just to approach it and remember that, yeah, I have some ways through. I have some ways forward. So I want to thank you for joining me inside this Surviving Success series, where we get super, super practical about what we need to survive the intense demands that success-minded women face, because maybe we can do a little less surviving and a little more thriving. What do you think? Join me on the journey. Hope you will subscribe to the channel. Let me know if this resonates and what you'd like to learn about so that you can not just survive success, but do a little bit better than that. Have a good one.